Hey, what's up, YouTube? You already know it's All City Live TV, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about the clutch shooter, the hot start, and volume shooter badges in NBA 2K20. We're trying to figure out if these are badges that you guys should equip. I'm a two-way slashing playmaker with only 10 shooting badge points to allocate between my shooting badges. So, is it a good idea for me to equip clutch shooter, hot start, or volume shooter on my player? Now, these are badges that I won't let go of. Quick draw on silver, range extender on gold, and hot zone hunter on silver. Also, my catch and shoot on bronze, I refuse to let go of. I feel like these have helped mold my player into a consistent shooter. Now I'm looking for a spot for my remaining 2 badge points, and I really like corner specialist on silver. That would be ideal for me, and that suits my playing style. But I want to see if there's another option out there. So on yesterday's live stream, we were trying out clutch shooter, hot start, and volume shooter. So my thoughts on the clutch shooter badge initially. Now this is a badge that it's not active enough for me with 10 shooting badge points to allocate between shooting badges. It doesn't seem active enough. With only 10 badge points, I need a badge that's consistently active. It helps me out on every single shot that I take out there, not one that only pops up later in the game. So I think clutch shooter, in my opinion, is a badge for players that have a ton of badge points to allocate between their shooting badges. I don't think clutch shooter is a good badge for someone who has a low amount of shooting badge points. So if you're trying to decide whether or not you should equip clutch shooter, remember that this is a badge that only activates later on in a park game or in the 4th quarter of a pro-am or rec game. So do you guys think, if you have a low amount of badge points, this is something that you guys may want to consider? Please let me know if you're running it. If you have a low amount of badge points and you're running a clutch shoot out there, please let me know. Also understand that some of these badges, like clutch shooter, volume shooter, and hot start, they some badges offer you a shot boost, some badges offer you an attribute boost. Clutch shooter offers you it just says a large boost in those clutch moments. So later in a park game, if the game is close, it'll offer you a large boost. If you're in the 4th quarter of a rec or pro-am game, it'll offer you a large boost. It doesn't define whether or not that's an attribute boost or a shot percentage boost. It just says large boost. So something to consider out there. So I went also and I tried out volume shooter. Volume shooter, although it's a great concept, you know, you got to make your first few shots and then every subsequent shot you continue to receive a boost or whatever. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm not a shooter that shoots a lot, being that I'm not the primary shooter on the court. I don't get many opportunities to shoot the rock, and I'm a two-way slashing playmaker, and my primary goal is to get to the rack out there. I tell you, that's my playing style, is to get to the rack, but I like shooting to help spread the floor for our teammates. So I like having the ability to shoot, but I'm not necessarily the primary shooter. So if you guys are out there and you notice that you're not the primary shooter, then maybe volume shooter is not the right badge for you if you have a low amount of badge points. But if you are the primary shooter out there, like a lot of people are, they love to shoot the rock. If you are the primary shooter, you may want to consider volume shooter, because you're only going to get an additional boost for shooting the rock. So there's an incentive there. Whether you make or miss the shot, you're gonna receive an incentive there. So that's always a good thing. And the next badge I want to talk about, also I want to mention, with volume shooter, it gives a +1 or whatever to your attribute. So this is not like, it does clearly define that it's your attributes that it gives a bonus to. So some, like I said, some badges give a shot percentage boost, and some badges reduce penalties and things of that nature. But volume shooter actually gives you an attribute boost. So something to consider out there. Hot start was another badge that people were talking about heavily in the beginning of the year, but unfortunately, as the patches have unfolded, hot start has been getting put on the back burner. So I'm out there, I want to give it a try. I'm looking for another slot for my 2 remaining badge points. I said, well, let's give hot start a try. And I gotta tell you guys my experience with Hot Start. Now, Hot Start also gives a plus to your attributes. So consider that if you have a low amount of shooting attributes, like a 3-point rating or something, it'll give you a plus to your attributes. But I wanna say Hot Start for me seemed to be another one of those badges that, you know, it just seems like I want a badge. My remaining 2 badge points, I want them to help every single shot I take out there. I don't want to sacrifice, you know, if I miss a shot, then the badge no longer activates. Something like Hot Start. If you don't, you know, it's supposed, Hot Start is supposed to be when you make a shot, it gives a boost to every single shot after that. So it's like if you miss a shot, do you sacrifice your badge or whatnot? And I need badges that actually help me with every single shot throughout the game. So I'd rather have more balance, being that I have a low amount of badge points to allocate between shooting badges. I'd rather have a badge that just is always there and always active for me when I need it, not one that will be completely eliminated if I suffered or if I miss a shot, something like that. So again, Hot Start I think is another one of those badges that if you're a shooter out there, if you're shooting the rock and you're the primary shooter and you know, you shoot at a high clip, you got a high percentage, and when you're taking your shots, you might want to consider Hot Start, because again, these are badges that only give you added benefits if you equip them. But if you have a low amount of shooting badges like I do, 10 shooting badge points to allocate between shooting badges, I don't know if it's necessary for you guys. So it's something that you guys may want to consider. These are my thoughts on the clutch shooter, volume shooter, and Hot Start badges. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we're gonna have a ton of NBA 2K20 content coming your way. I'll catch you guys on the next video.